Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at this final event of EU Influencers project called Youth in Action. Today we are gonna make some summary of this project and have a little panel after that. And I'm Sandra, project manager at Center E8, and Center E8 is one of the partners organization in this project. And although maybe you cannot see other participants, we are currently live in all project participating countries, and also we have viewers in other European countries such as Poland, Bulgaria, Macedonia, Finland, etc. So thank you very much for taking your time to join us and registering. I want to say briefly something about our project. I hope that all of you who are watching us are somehow engaged in our activities, but maybe you are here today to know a little more about our project, and that's completely okay. EU Influencers project is international project co-funded by the European Youth Together program of the European Union, and DYPALL Network from Portugal coordinates it, together with partners organization Center E8 from Serbia, Association Elios from Italy, Zagorje Sutla from Croatia, and African Empowerment Center from Sweden. And our main goal of this project is to create an international network of young people who are well informed and critical about the European Union, about the topic of democracy, and to make the pool of young people who can rethink, reshape, and maybe give a different perspective of this project topics. And as I said, this project wants to give active role of young people in all these participating countries, but furthermore to maybe create some community of young people who are engaged in these topics, and maybe later on in these presentations made by our project participants, maybe we can share to you that we succeed in this. This project have a few goals or objectives, if I can say like that. We want, in the first place, to encourage young people's understanding of EU decision-making process and their impact at local level, in the local communities, and also to develop young people's ability to critically analyze information, news, and to give them tools to maybe critically think of all the news that they are surrounding now through social media, through television, and etc. And also we want to make a network of young people all across Europe, and later on in the presentation, and when I talk more about our activities, especially our international activities, maybe we can show to you that we already succeed, and we make a really cool network of young people from all participating country, as you can see here on the screen, through all Europe, and that young people are really motivated to do furthermore after this project. Okay, I mentioned our activities that we did in this project, and I want to start with our international activities. We have both some international activities, some local activities in all participating country, and a lot more online activities through social media, through social media campaigns, because if we want to bring the topic of democracy and European Union closer to young people, we should always use social media as a great tool. So we have really good and big pool of international and local activities, and also online activities. Our first big activity, also international activity, was international training course where all young people or young influencers from all participating country come together to Belgrade, where I'm here now. So hello from Belgrade, and all that young people came to Belgrade and have a really good 5 days training about all the project topics, and they had a really good trainers who are experts in their field. We have Marija Jovanovic. She's a social media expert and activist in Serbia. She's well known in the field of social media influence. So she gave our activists really good guidelines for creating furthermore their campaigns and their actions on the social media. We also, as a trainer, had Nemanja Puric. He is from Faculty of Political Science in Belgrade, and he gave all of our participants some new perspective to the concept of the European Union, maybe how the decision-making process at such a crucial level at the European Union have the influence at local level, but also give them perspective how the local level activities can also influence such a big concept as the European Union. After that international training, our idea was for all the young people who get that knowledge in the training in Belgrade to go to their countries, to go to their communities, and to engage a lot more people and transfer them all the knowledge and tips and tricks that they learned and at the big international training. So after that, we had 5 local trainings, 50 local actions, and 2,000 reached participants. So we had after that training 10 activities per country. And basically our idea in this project was, when all that young people in their communities gather and maybe did some kind of training, some kind of workshops, they create a really good platform for creating local actions and creating social media campaign. And all that segment of the local actions, we call that Think European, Act Locally. Because as I said previously, we want to show how the actions at the local level can influence something at the very large level as the European Union, but also in the different direction. And as I said, for our yes, you can see these lovely visuals and our success in the numbers, but also, as I mentioned, our social media campaign. We want to get directly to the people, but young people are now, of course, on the social media, and that's completely okay. I'm the young person. I'm on the social media. Mostly of my information and everything I get from social media. So basically, that was our idea. If you want to talk with young people about the European Union, about the democracy, about engaging at the local level, of course, we want to go through social media. So basically, all of our activities were followed on the social media, and we had really, as I can say, umbrella campaign where all activities in all of our project countries will go under that same campaign and same hashtag. So you can see visuals on the screen about the social media campaign. We have in all of 5 participating country through our social media profiles, mostly on the Instagram. We had 200 likes, 200 posts, 600 likes, and we reach 50,000 people with all of these social media activities. So it's a pretty big number of young people who are involved in our activities, and you can see some screenshots from that campaign. And that campaign followed all activities, from the international training, from the local training, all the local actions. And some of the local actions was also on the social media, in that online world, but some of them was directly communication with the direct communication with young people through workshops, through debate, and something like this. But we will get to that later, when all of these young people from participating country are going to present their activities. And here we are now at our final event, and this is final event of this project. And we are going to use this opportunity to summarize all of our activities, to show you some of numbers and our results in previous work at this project. So also I want to use this opportunity to encourage young people, and to encourage them to, after this project, they look for maybe other opportunities, and to stay engaged on these topics. And also we wanted, through this project, to give some kind of platform, some kind of guidelines, for the young people. So through this project we make some intellectual outputs that youth workers, young people, teachers, etc., can use all these outputs, and maybe create some other projects, maybe to create some other activities. Just all of this knowledge and experience that we gathered through this project, because 5 participating countries, 5 organizations, that many young people involved in every action in every country, it's really big number and large scale of knowledge and opportunities, and we just wanted to share and inspire others. So in this project we create Youth Democracy Academy. It's online course based on some of toolkits, guidelines, videos, quizzes, and other materials, and can be used by young people, can be used by youth workers, can be used by teachers. And some of these videos and materials, you can find it on the DYPALL Network YouTube channel, DYPALL Network website. And also we create a toolkit for the influencers, and I'm author of that toolkit. And the main goal is for young people to the main goal of that toolkit is to increase young interested understanding of the young people of the European Union, about democracy, about critical thinking, etc. So through this toolkit we want to tackle young people about the topic of EU structures, impact, as I said previously, and to give them some guidelines how to start their work into this field. Also, we have toolkit for online campaigns and local actions, and this is really useful for us in that phase of the project, when we are all thinking about what we can do in the sphere of local actions, what we can do about the campaigns, how we can combine all of that. So we have that as input of this project. So thank you very much for listening all this summary. Maybe these numbers can be really boring, but I think that we have really good impact and results of this project, and I just wanted to present it to you. In this part, as I said, we are gonna I will be joined by some of the young influencers, and they will present their favorite local actions, tell us a little more about it. And I think that we are going to hear from Belgrade to Portugal, and to see Matilde, Simona, and I think Liliana, and they are gonna present their favorite action.
Hi.
Hi, girls. How are you?
Hi. Well,
Okay. As I said previously, it's time for you to present your favorite local actions and tell us a little more about your work and what did you done through this project in Portugal. So the floor is yours.
okay. Can you see my screen? Okay, I think now it's okay. Well, hello everybody. I hope you're doing well. I'm Simona. I'm here with Matilde, and we're going to talk a little bit about what happened in Portugal and how we became EU influencers. We had about 10 local actions, and here we're going to just talk a little bit about our favorite ones. Firstly, we had the local trainings. We had some in Portimão, which is also our hometown, and one in Lisbon. They were a bit different because in Portimão, the VID facilitated about 3 or 4 weeks of training every Wednesday. It had about maybe 10 to 15 participants. That's actually how me and Matilde met. And in Lisbon, it was 1 day of training facilitated by Catarina and Laura, which went to the first training course that happened of EU influencers in Belgrade, Serbia. And here we talked a lot about the European Union, the influence that it has in our daily lives. We talked about participation in the EU, social media, the power of media, and what was really different about these two trainings, besides the time of it all, as I said, the Portimão one spread throughout the month, and Lisbon was only a day, was how the campaigns that we did were different. So in Lisbon, we talked a lot about fake news, and we did campaigns on social media, Instagram mostly, about how we should enrich people about social media and awareness of fake news. And in Portimão, we also spoke a lot of how we of people from our community that had some type of impact in the EU world and everything. So that was the training. And then on Europe Day, on the 9th of May, we did one of our first local actions. This was in Portimão. It was at the university that we have there. It was throughout the whole day, and it was about the EU influencers, but also opportunities of EU that you can find, like Erasmus and Solidarity Corps, besides other things. And I really loved this local action because we went to these universities that had like students from our own schools. So the people already knew us. So it was me, Susana, David, Matilde, Sara, Carolina. So it was really interesting to see maybe people that we went to school with that didn't knew that these opportunities existed. When you see like a table at your school with people that maybe you know, you're more interested in that information. So we caught their eyes, and we were able to talk with about 150 people, and we were able to spread EU information like that and opportunities. We also had fun images and memes, as you can see on the pictures that I'm holding. It says, "I will never give you up." So yeah, that was Europe Day, and now passing to the next one. This was Matilde's.
Yeah, so in this local action, I was invited to be the guest speaker of the University of Algarve's radio, and to talk in a sketch that's called A Rua da Europa. It basically translates to the street of Europe. This sketch often invites young people that are active in their communities to talk about their projects and what they do to inspire other people and other young people. So in this interview, I talked about not only the EU Influencers program, but also about the exchange that we did in Villarreal with the influencers and about the European elections of 2024. I think this was very important because we often don't see young people represented that well in media and stuff. When it comes to radio, for an example, that mostly young people don't listen that much. So I think it was very funny. And also, I think it was great because I didn't see many people being interviewed for this sketch like my age, so young. So it was great about that too.
Okay, thank you very much, girls. I think that you're doing amazing work in Portugal, and DYPALL Network is, I think, really proud on you and work on this project. And now for the next presentation from Portugal, we are going all up and north to Sweden. I think that Hamza will be joining me to present their work within this project in the African Empowerment Center. Hi. Okay.
Hello.
Hello, girls from Sweden. How are you?
We're good.
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Okay, tell us a little more about your work and your actions.
We have our third member, Chantal. She's supposed to be up here too.
Let's see if we can get her up here with us.
There. Okay.
Perfect.
There she is. Du mutad.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. Okay, yeah, so we're going to start with introducing ourselves. So my name is Chantal, and I'm part of AEC Sweden.
So my name is Olivia. I'm also a part of EISC Sweden, and I'm a EU influencer within this project.
And my name is Hamza, and we have Aliti as well, and Eba. But it's only our faces you'll be seeing on the screen right now.
Yes. I just want to start off by introducing AEC first, so that we know what kind of organization it is. So AEC is a nonprofit organization that was established in Stockholm by a group of young people who have a strong passion for like immigrant youth. And the aim of AEC is to empower youth by helping in addressing youth needs, youth trainings like this in EU influencer project, and also by like having an information center for newcomers. Moving on to the project, one of this youth training in EU influencers, we had a local action last year. And this is one of the actions that we're really super proud of because it was a very successful 2-day workshop in helping more youth immigrants to know about EU. And we had it at Censurförbundet. And why Censurförbundet is important in this place is that it's a meeting place of a student association or like member associations that sort of creates a space for people to come for culture and education and stuff like that. So they provide like a meeting place for this sort of opportunities to happen. And that is why, among the reasons as to why we chose this specific space. And then on to Hamza, who can talk more about the project.
So how we did this project, we had about 30 people of all ages, different ethnicities, diversity of genders as well. And we incorporated games because we wanted to have an interactive way of teaching these young people. So we had a workshop where we talked about the EU and we informed them about how the EU benefits them as in their ages now and when they turn 18. And then we had a Kahoot so that they could play and so that we would be sure that we've implemented the correct information for them. And our goal was to use mouth-to-mouth communication so that they don't just think, okay, we went to this workshop and we just learned this. We want them to associate it with something fun so they can tell their friends, we learned this and this through doing this and this. So it being interactive was probably the most important part. Even at the end, we asked them a question, what does the EU mean for you? And then we asked them to paint it and visually communicate what the EU means for them. And it was very, very fun. We played music in the background. And the kids have even contacted us afterwards asking if we're going to do anything similar because they really, really enjoyed it. So I'd say those are the main impacts for them, and it's the most relevant for their ages, even though it was very different ages, but most of them were about to turn of age to be able to vote in the EU election this year.
Yes, so moving forward after this lovely presentation or like summary of our local action, while we were making this presentation, we were all discussing like what is our favorite moment from this local action, and everyone had so many different opinions and perspectives because there were so many like funny and wholesome moments of this local action. But we all agreed upon the last activity that we did the first day, which, as Hansa mentioned, was where we let all of the participants use their creativity in forms of art to answer the question of what does EU mean for you. So we all agreed upon that because it was so much fun to see how they all had different perspectives on this question and how they answered it with so many personalized touches, as there's no right or wrong answer to this question. So that was really fun to see how they absorbed all of the information that we had fed them with before with all our presentations and so. But moving on to our future plans, carrying the same theme as this project, we were planning on having a local activity somewhere in between April and May, an informative one with our main participants or main aim participants being this year's electors for the European Parliament election. But of course, everyone is welcome, even the younger ones, because they will be our future electors. So we were thinking about doing an informative activity, as I said before, where we kind of like highlight the importance of everyone's voice within this election. So we have recently moved on to TikTok as a social media platform where we will be performing and promoting our local activity and keeping in touch with everyone. So I don't know if I can play this video for you, but that's our fellow EU participant Aliti, who has been posted on TikTok. And lastly, we would love for you all to join us on this journey, both on TikTok and Instagram, throughout this whole project and after. And we will be hoping to see you all soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, sorry, we had some technical issues, but I hope that you can hear me now clearly. Thank you very much, girls from Sweden. I really like your question, what the EU mean for you and your perspective, as there is no right or wrong answer. And I really liked your work, so I hope that you will continue. And for the next presentation, we are going from Sweden to the Croatia, and I think that from Croatia we have Tina with us. So hello, Tina.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Tina. How are you?
How can I share my presentations? Hello, I'm good. Okay.
Here you go.
Oh, okay. So my name is Tina. I'm part of a Croatian team. There is 3 more of us, but I'm here alone. So as we were told, we did our local actions. We did, I think, 10 or maybe even more. We started with the workshops that we did at our school, which is School for Art, Design, Graphics and Clothes. We did it with the classes who had like a free period. So we made a presentations with every stuff that we learned in Belgrade. So we taught them about fake informations, fake news, how to create a perfect influencer or a follower, and about the EU, which was fun for them actually, because we did like a quiz with the false and right EU informations, and we told them a few facts about EU. So we gave them a few tasks to create a perfect follower with the knowledge we gave them, and we also gave them a task to draw what EU represents for them, and we did not let them use like Euro or European flag. This is our picture from Portugal. So after that, we did a few reels about information about EU, and also carousel posts about EU and our presentation. This is our team. This is Antonio. He talked about social media, like in general. And then there's Dorotea, there's me, Hervé, our coordinator, and Petra, who is not here today with us, unfortunately. And that's it. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Tina, very much. I really like that you in your actions involve schools, and I think it's great to work in and with educational institutions. So it's really great work. And we are going now to hear presentations from Italy, from Sicily, and we have here Desiree. So hi, Desiree.
Hi everyone. Hope you can hear me.
Yes. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What about you?
Great. I'm really enjoying this event. So the floor is yours. So tell us a little more about your actions.
Thank you. So first of all, basically, my name is Desiree. I work in Elios. And also I have participated to the EU program in the youth exchange we did in Portugal, but also in the training did in Belgrade. So I'm going to show you some of the actions that we made. So first of all, we did a local training in Ciriale, in a place near Ciriale. And this local training basically was based on the activities that we did in the training did in Belgrade. The activities were facilitated by me and also Marco, who is another worker in Elios. We had a lot of participants. We were almost 25 or 30 people. I don't remember well. But we had a lot of engagement by the guys because they didn't know something about EU values, EU program. And then we had the opportunity to explain them what was this program, what was this project. Going on, we can say that we made a lot of EU Cafe, but what are EU Cafes? Basically, we had this place in Ciriale, in our local community, with a coffee shop. And this coffee shop basically is always full of young people of our place. And so we take this opportunity to talk with them and explain them what are the EU programs, what are EU influencer program, the project that the European Union make for young people. And so we had this opportunity to talk with them, but also we made lots of workshops with them. And the last one was about a bingo edition because of Christmas. So we made the bingo edition of EU Influencer. And we had also a lot of engagement by the youngsters because we had something like 70 people involved, because we used to make this event each week, basically, and so we had a lot of participants. Then I can say that we made a podcast, Raquel and me. Raquel is another person that worked with me in Elios, and she also is a coordinator of this project. We made a podcast, and you can find it on our Spotify profile, which is called Radio Elios. And basically, in this podcast, we talked about what we have done during the project and how we feel about European Union. Then we made the Sun and Basket. Basically, Sun and Basket is one of the most famous events here in our local community, and also is organized by us. And we decided to take this opportunity to show to people what is European Union, and also to spread our knowledge about the program, the project in general, but also about what we have done during the project. And we noticed that this topic is still a taboo, so we took this opportunity to spread the knowledge about the EU program. And we had a lot of engagement, because we had something like 100 people involved. Going on, we made a lot of workshops. In fact, we used also the workshop fake news, which means that we put fake news and real ones, and people had to guess what were the real ones and what were the fake ones among some fake news. And we used this workshop also as a parallel workshop in our youth exchange. And we can say that a lot of people liked this type of workshop. And in the end, we did also some workshops in some schools here in Acireale. And we involved 3 high schools here in our local community. And basically what we have done was to present the program and also explain EU values, the opportunity that European Union has for young people. And we also made some funny workshop for young people regarding fake news, and also creating fake news and stuff like this. And we had something like, 100 people. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. I really liked when you talk about your election that you put that perspective that is interesting for young people, such as podcast, cafes, basket, etc. So it's really shown how all the partners have a different approach to this concept of local actions, and how we are all doing something unique, but also interesting to young people. So it's really great to hear all these amazing presentations. And we are going back in Belgrade, and I will present a little more about local actions of the Serbian team. Basically, our favorite, if I can say like that, local action was a debate that we organized at Faculty of Political Science, University of Belgrade, and we did that together with debate club of faculty, and we used that approach and our collaboration with faculty, because most of our core team here in Serbia, we are all from that faculty, so it gives us a really good perspective. And the debate topic was, should Serbia be part of the EU? And that day we heard some amazing arguments also from the opposition team and from the government team, and at the end the audience voted, and the result was yes, Serbia should be part of the EU. But also I want to mention that all of participants in this debate are also students from Faculty of Political Science, so they have really good knowledge about the political situation and perspective of Serbia regarding the European Union. And also all of that participants in debate are multiple award winners and really known worldwide for debate. So it was really great for us to have collaboration with them, and also for them to make time and do this activity with us. Basically, that's one of the many activities that we done. But we also do some of the workshops, trainings. We do a lot of podcasts with some of the professors from the University of Belgrade on the topics also on the European Union, on the topics of fake news, etc. And on screen you can see pictures from the from that event. You can see some of the materials that we that we use, and I can say in general that we have really great time, and and I think that we maybe can collaborate in the future with debate club of the faculty. So basically that's it for this part about the presentation. I wanted to encourage you all to also write us comments if you have some questions, feedbacks, and everything. All that comments will be shown on screen, and that's it from this part of summarizing the project, debates, local actions, and everything. In the second part of this event, we will have a panel with young people, with activists, with the representatives of some institutions, also at the local level, also at the national level. And before that, we will have a short break, and you can enjoy in the slideshow of the pictures that we took in this project. And after that, you can follow the panel.
Yeah. Here we go. I remember back when I was young and clever and no one knew my name. But nowadays we only talk about the weather and nothing seems to change. Legends, we were all born to be legends. Just a matter of your dreams. Legends, we were all born to be legendary. I got a feeling that there's something that I'm needing. Got a target in my aim. I can take it, yes, I'm never gonna leave it, 'cause I'm harder than the game.
Hi again, we are back. I hope that you enjoy all these pictures that we took in the Belgrade, in the selfie museum when we had our first international training. So you can see that we have a lot of fun. And as I said, in this part we will have a panel, and the panel will be moderated by my dear colleague Alex from DYPALL Network. And in this panel, she will be talking with some of very interesting people who can bring really good and maybe different perspective to all these projects topics. And as a panelist here, we have Milica Kostin from Serbia. She is a student and youth activist. And we also have Aliti Diemo from Sweden. She is a project participant and really engage in the youth work in Sweden. So maybe she will talk a little more about her work. And we also have Marko Vešligaj. He is from Croatia, and he is actually mayor of the Pregrada city. So it is great to have his perspective on this topic, and I think really great inputs on our actions. And we have Jorge Orlando. He is a European Steering Group chairman person. a chairperson from a European Steering Group Committee for Youth. Sorry, and we have Akica as the Alex as moderator, and of course you can write questions in the comments. We'll have after first session of questions. We will have questions from the audience. So you are always free to write something to us. Okay. Okay, thank you very much for joining us at this event. It's really nice to see you all and meet some of you. I have opportunity to meet Jorge and of course to meet Milica and Aliti, and it's nice, Marco, to meeting you at this way. So, Alex, the floor is yours now.
Thank you, Sandra, and thank you so much to all of our panelists for joining us this afternoon. Before we start what I'm sure is going to be a very interesting conversation, I would just like to give a big shout out to all the EU influencers for all the amazing work they have done during this past nearly 2 years. You have actually only a glimpse of it in their presentations, which were also very well done, I must say, but they have done much more both in person and on social media, and we will invite you to check out their work on the EU influencers website as well. And just a special little also mention to the team from Portugal, whose presentation unfortunately ended a bit sooner due to some technical issues, and we are sorry for that. But for sure, you can see all the amazing work they have done on the website as well. So now it is my pleasure to engage in this conversation, as Sandra already announced, with decision makers from local to European level and youth activists on the other hand. And we will explore a little bit about different perspectives of youth participation in decision making and ways we can bring a bit more closer young people and those who are in power, elected officials making decisions. So we will take a first round of questions, one for each of you, and then we will take a few questions from the audience. So as Sandra said, for everyone watching, you can write in the comments on YouTube, on the platforms where you're watching this live stream, and then we will incorporate some of the questions into the program. So as we are here celebrating the great success of the EU Influencers project, that is this youth-led project, as you have seen, young people were completely in charge of everything that took place here. We would also like to start out with one of our EU influencers that is here in our panel today, that is Aliti. And I would like to ask you to reflect a little bit based on your experience in this project, but also your activism in the African Empowerment Center, in Save the Children Youth Sweden. What would you say are the best ways to bring youth and decision makers closer from a youth perspective? And what advice would you give to politicians, decision makers for involving young people in local policy making?
All right. Can you guys hear me, first of all?
Yes, that's great.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Alexandra. It's nice to meet you again, even though it's digitally. I would say that if I break up the two questions, the first question being how to bring youths and decision makers closer, I would say there's a lot of different ways on doing this. Through activities and local actions that we have been doing and had the opportunity to do both in Sweden and in Serbia when we traveled. It's all about creating a safe space where youths can come and feel comfortable to take part of information about their rights and about how the EU works. For me, specifically being in Save the Children in Sweden, I feel like it has been a safe ground for me to be able to take part of, how different, how should I put it? How different organizations they work with children's rights. And I think opening those opportunities for more youths would make them more willing to want to come and gather together to learn more about different subjects, not only the EU or children's right, like anything that involves them that could help them and benefit them in any way. So that could be local activities, workshops, and seminars. Those are very popular. I know in other projects that I've been participating in, having like something fun and a little bit, childish that the youths can take part of can be very attractive for them to want to come and, listen. Because sometimes, at least for me, in the beginning of my journey with NGOs, I felt it could be a little bit intimidating. You're sitting in a room full of adults who know so much, and it might not feel so approachable to ask those questions that you're not so sure of. So it's about creating a space where youths feel comfortable and brave enough to take part of what we are working towards together and what we are working to build together. And could you repeat the second question, because I don't remember it now off my head? The top.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for this insightful impact. The question was input. Sorry, the question was, what advice would you give to decision makers, some of whom we also have here in our panel, for involving young people in policy making from a youth perspective?
Well, that's a heavy question and very loaded. I know it's not as, easy sometimes to do those type of things because there's a lot of steps that go into it. But if it would be possible to just, make this decision making a little bit faster or accessible for youths, that would be the ideal to make now I'm mixing Swedish and English because I speak multiple languages, so I'm trying to translate it in my head. But I would say it's creating a space, just like I said before, where youths can come and gather and talk about important questions. So make it accessible, because sometimes it's the information might not be there. It might not be on places online that young people hang around, or even places where young people are gathered. So maybe make it accessible online as well as in real life, if that made sense.
Absolutely. Thank you, Aliti. And I understand how it is to juggle between different languages. I think many of us are here, which is also great. And it shows the multiculturality and hopefully the interculturality of the Europe that we have, or that young people wish to create. I would then like to move on to kind of continuing this conversation, but from the perspective of the decision makers. And I would like to address my next question to Mr. Veshligai. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Now, and similar to the question posed to Aliti, what would you say are the best ways to bring youth and decision makers closer from the perspective of a mayor? And what would you say is the best way for young people to approach decision makers and to make sure they're being heard and taken seriously?
Yes, thank you. The right pronunciation of my surname is Veshligai, so I know it's sometimes hard. But first of all, I want to greet everyone present, and definitely I want to say that bringing young people closer to decision makers is the crucial for every society. In the city of Pregrada, I'm the mayor here almost 11 years, and I believe we have very good youth policies. It's all starting with my and experience of all team that we have in some NGO, in I don't know, in youth political organizations. And basically, for example, 15-20 years ago, when I was young people, I was fighting for this, what I believe today we are implementing here in Pregrada. We were part of Europe Goes Local program, and through this program, I believe we start something what is now spread all over Croatia. It is the participatory budgeting for the young people, where young people have the opportunity, first of all, to learn something about political system, to learn how the decisions are making, and learn what is the budget. And after that, they have the opportunity something to propose. They vote for some project, and this project go to implementation. So we have really example of that young people have the possibility to create something they really something that they believe that there is need for their society. For example, in our city we have few of this project. So we are also the city for the youth, one of the 12 cities in Croatia, and we have now our city program for the youth, which is very practical. We have the measures, very concrete measures. They are divided in the 4 fields: youth activity, health and healthcare, the housing, family, and the economic independence of the young people, and free time, education, and the culture. And as I said before, there are very concrete measures for improving the position of the young people. So I believe the communication is the always key of this. Our city administration is oriented on the participation of the citizens on all levels, but basically but they all start with the youth. And I don't know, result is definitely that we have, for example, the 2 members of our city council are young people. We have only 13 members of the young council. We have very active also the youth council, and we are advising when we do budget, not only for this participatory budgeting, but for some bigger project that we also creating. And I believe we have the very good communication with the young people. I'm also proud that because I'm the mayor, but I'm also the member of the European Committee of Region. So a few months ago, I organizing one local dialogue, which is called the Challenges and Opportunities of Policy for Youth People, and for youth mobility and affordable housing for youth people. Because I believe there are big problems, especially here in the rural areas, because Pregrada is really small city, only 6,000 inhabitants. It's 60 kilometers from Zagreb, and young people have some specific problems here if we compare this with the bigger cities. But there is no some magical stick. You have to be here, talk with the people, talk with the young people, and listening their needs, and of course involve them in all levels. It's all start. For example, if I'm the member of the political party, then you must give the opportunity for young people to also have some position in this party, because they will after that they will come also on the some list for when it's local elections, and they become the members of the city council. Of course, the cooperation with our civil society is very important, and I'm proud we have the really lot of very good civil society on different fields, from culture, sport, to the activity of young people. And of course, we will try to do better also on the future. But I believe that these very concrete actions and projects which we implemented last few years are definitely gave this opportunity young people to be involved in the decisions making.
Thank you very much. And it is always, of course, refreshing to see that there is this strong political will to engage young people and to create a youth-friendly city. And you mentioned that. And if we have time afterwards in the follow-up, it would be very interesting to hear more about that and about how that works. but also I think it's important that people in positions like you join events like this and actually engage in conversations with young people, are interested in what people are doing. And we know it's not always easy with the busy schedules you have. So we are really appreciative of that. And moving on to our next panelist, Milica, we would now like to explore a bit of a different perspective. So from the perspective of Mr. Veshtiglai, we heard a bit more about organized youth, right, structures such as local youth councils that provide space for participation. But Milica's perspective is a little bit different. It's a little bit more of this grassroots activism and taking young people out on the streets. So as one of the leaders of the students movement Borba, formerly Students Against Violence, if I'm correct, that has been taking the streets and demonstrating for fair and democratic elections in Serbia recently, would you mind sharing a little bit with us about how do you organize such big groups of young people, and how do you ensure that the concerns you are voicing out in your protests actually lead to a dialogue with those in power?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to share my perspective. So the thing about like organizing a big group of people, as you put it, we have had the unfortunate chance to organize different kinds of events. So it's been a long road. We have been now protesting for 10 months on and off again of the streets of Belgrade and different cities in Serbia. And in that sense, we have had the chance to organize different events and different perspectives on how to form a protest. And the thing about is you actually do need some kind of structure in this like grassroots movement. You need a clear message that you're sending out to the youngsters to make sure that they are actually gonna join your movement, and you need to instruct them into how they are going to keep the event safe and how they are going to partake into the event itself. And in that way, you need not that big of group of people, but smaller, big group of people that are willing to put themselves out there to take some kind of responsibilities into creating the movement and and in that way we are proud of our movement, is that we don't have some kind of hierarchy and I'm the boss, you are below me, but we have like dozens of groups of young people that are willing to create an idea and to inform other youngsters of the idea that the elections, like right now, the elections in Serbia weren't fair, weren't free, and we need to fight for them to be more free. And in that sense, the second question that you asked is that dialogue in Serbia, especially with those in power, is lacking. And in that sense, that when we are on the streets and people see us, that we are there, and the government can see us because we are literally outside your house. So and it's a struggle because also with the stake of freedom of media in Serbia, and in that sense we are not represented in most media outlets that are nationally covered. And in that sense we just supply the formal request to the responsible ministries and government of Republic of Serbia, and in that way we form some kind of dialogue, but we don't get any feedback. And the other thing is, when we did get feedback is when we sent the request to the European Parliament to accept a delegation of our colleagues to put some things, some concerns when the students were sanctioned because of the protest, and that ended up being in the resolution that is on the elections in Serbia.
Thank you very much, Milice, for also this inspiring perspective. And since you mentioned about the challenges of engaging in dialogue with decision makers, I think that's also an interesting note to continue this conversation to our next panelist, that is Jorge Orlando from the European Steering Committee for Youth, from the Portuguese Institute of Youth and Sports, and currently the chairperson of this European institution. And as a governmental representative and representing a European institution that is the Council of Europe, how do you see the role of young people in building a democratic Europe, and ways in which we can bring youth and European decision makers closer? Since sometimes this gap between grassroots, local, and European level seems very big, especially from a young person's perspective.
Hello, Alexandra. Hello, everybody. I would like to start by saluting the members of the panel and to salute the participants in this initiative, and of course, DYPALL Network and leaderships and volunteers who are making this event possible. I know DYPALL's worked for a long time, and I could not say no to the invitation. Now, coming to the core of your question, the role of young people in building a democratic Europe. Well, I've been around for quite some time in this youth policies field, both at national and international, mostly European level. And the fact is that this is one question that is pursuing us from a long time ago. For instance, 1998 was a very important year because it was the year where, at the same time, we had the 5th Conference of Ministers of Youth of the Council of Europe, where this subject was at the very core of the whole conference. And this conference took place in April, and in August we held in Portugal 5 major events in the midfield, namely a World Conference of Ministers of Youth, the World Forum of Youth, together both with the United Nations and the International Youth Festival, and a couple of other ministerial conferences, all in 12 days. And for those who don't know it, we celebrate August the 12th as International Youth Day, after a proposal of the World Youth Forum that met in Portugal, and its approval and the approval of the Conference of Ministers that met here in Portugal as well in 1998. The ministers addressed this recommendation to the United Nations, and in 1999 the United Nations, in a way, established August the 12th as the International Youth Day. Now, this to say that the role of young people in building a democratic Europe has to start by asking young people what kind of society do they want to live in. A democratic society, an autocratic society, a society with freedom of expression, a society where expression is controlled, fully controlled, not only on the media, but when you are not allowed even to, as the previous speaker was saying, even demonstrating and making your voice heard in demonstrations on the streets or wherever, you are not free as such. Now, if young people understand that they want to struggle for a democratic Europe and a democratic society, then sometimes they have to fight their way upstream and to reach the places of influence. It's funny that we are working in a seminar, addressing and you have been mentioned, referring to participants as influencers, and we have to do that. Now, from our side, the elder, if we have to answer the same question, what kind of society do we want? What kind of society are we fighting for? And if we believe in democratic societies, in freedom of speech, and so on and so forth, then we have to invest in young people. Because young people, they are not only the guarantee of these democratic systems in the future, but they are the guarantee of these democratic systems nowadays, today. Because young people, from my experience, they are, especially those of us who believe in these values, they are our best allies. They are our best allies, you know, and therefore, I think one of the things we have to do is to create the right mechanisms to talk to young people, to have young people talking to us, and creating the right mechanisms for us to work together. I was presented as chair of the European Steering Committee for Youth. Yes, but let me position yourselves according to two models, for instance, of participation of young people. The first one, the European Union. In the European Union, we have the youth dialogue. It started many years ago. And if you never heard about it in your country, it's a serious question, because in your countries, your national youth councils and others, and even your governments, they are obliged to develop activities related to the youth dialogue that have to start in the local and national level. And in the end, they coincide, they converge to the Youth Conference of the European Union. But in this process, young people, they have a consultative role. They are expected to, they are consulted on issues important for the European Union strategy that was in itself constructed with cooperation with young people. Now, on the side of the Council of Europe, the ways we have to have young people participating in this process of keep on building a democratic Europe is called co-management. I am the chair of this European Steering Committee on Youth, which is the committee where governmental representatives take a seat. But on my side, as CDJ member, I am working with representatives of youth organizations that are gathered in the Advisory Council. The Advisory Council on Youth, it's another committee that is composed solely of youth organizations. 20 of them are elected amongst the European Forum members, and there are 10 that have to apply, and their joining of the Advisory Council depends on the Secretary General of the Council of Europe. And we have our own duties and agendas, but when we work together, we create a third committee. It's the Joint Committee on Youth, and then we co-decide together. And here, youth organizations and young people, they have a say, not as in the framework of a merely consultative process, but nothing is decided without the agreement of the youth representatives. And for me, as a governmental representative in the Council of Europe, I see this working. I've been seeing this work, and it actually worked. And now I think we have a big challenge: is how can we bring this to the national level and to the local level? We heard I had the pleasure to hear Mr. Marco Vesligai. He's a mayor in his city, and he mentioned, and with this I stop, Alexander, okay? And he mentioned the European Committee of the Regions on the side of the European Union, and on the side of the Council of Europe, we have the Congress of Local and Regional Authorities. And they organize yearly an event with young people. They have the Assembly of Young People. Now, if we want young people to be engaged, first of all, we have to create the right means for them to participate. And the second thing we have to do is to make young people aware of these opportunities and these tools so that they can participate, because I cannot pretend to have them participating without letting them know they can actually participate and they can have their voices heard. Last but not least, It is very important for us to enter into this relationship as honest brokers, as somebody said once, and avoid from our side as grown-ups, as adults, as decision makers, as sometimes people refer to us, we have to avoid what somebody has already called as the youth washing or tokenism. And with this, we mean involving young people in these consultative and eventually decision-making processes only to, in the end, for us to say, we consulted young people. Well, in the end, yes, we took the decisions we wanted to take. We had already prearranged to take, but we consulted young people. This is something we have to avoid at all costs. And for that, we have to give young people the means, and young people have to seize these opportunities and sometimes create their own opportunities to make ourselves accountable for the decisions. If not through other means, through social networks. Because nowadays you have means of communicating with each other and influencing each other. I didn't have when I was a 14 or a 15. So for the start of our conversation, I would stop here. I knew I have only 3 minutes, but so Alexandra, I give you the floor.
Thank you very much, George, and thank you everyone for very insightful inputs. I'm sure we could actually be here much longer to discuss many things, and you've also tackled the aspect of social media, and that has been a very strong point of this project, and especially tackling fake news and how do young people, develop this media literacy, critical thinking to actually be able to recognize and combat fake news. All right, with the aim to be informed and to participate more meaningfully. Now we are already getting several questions here in comments. So I would like to try to address one question for each of you. And we can see them now also on the screen. So perhaps it would be interesting to address this first question to Aliti. It's also addressed to Milica, but then there's some more that I think Milica can also answer. So this one coming from Kristince, I believe, is how to make decision-making spaces more appealing for young people, but at the same time more inclusive. So Aliti, what would be your thoughts on that?
How to make the spaces more appealing. Let me think. How to make them more appealing? Well, if I just give an example from Save the Children's youth organization that I'm a part of, the meetings often consist of some games like quizzes that we do, either in the beginning or at the end of the meeting, kind of warming up the youth to what we're about to do. Or at the end when, as my peers presented in our youth activities, that we had a quiz at the end where we asked the youths what they had learned from our presentation. So it's not just that they have been there, but they've actually been there and took something from it. Or, when we were also in Serbia with you, Alexandra, I think you were also there when we were doing these like warm-up games, get to know each other, like something that's not necessarily focused on what we are going to talk about, but something that would just open the space up and make it more comfortable for the youths to, get to know each other and feel like, okay, this is something that's going to be exciting and interesting to learn more about. So that's what I can think of like at the top of my head right now. And just make it a comfortable and safe space for the youths to be in. And to make it more inclusive, you can what I just said. So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Aliti. So definitely the power of non-formal education, speaking also in a youth-friendly language. And then it would be interesting to know Milica's perspective as well on this. But I see also another question here from David. Or we haven't? Okay. Oh, perfect. So David is asking, how can time we spend on social media inspire us to be active participants of the European Union? And I guess that question could be addressed to any of you. But I think it would be interesting if we address it to Milica and ask you to connect it a little bit to the work that you have been doing, to the grassroots work with organizing student protests. What was like the way that you used social media, to get people informed, to get people engaged, but also for people to know what it is exactly they are protesting, and also to be informed of the follow-up, of the impact of them taking up the streets. It would be interesting to know your experience.
Yeah, but for the time on social media, I would say just filter out what you're doing and how you are using it. And the tool itself is very useful for you to be an active citizen, whether it is like to be an active participant of the European Union or just certainly on any problem that is existing. And for us, it was a way to inform people that the protest is happening. Like, we have a certain following at the beginning, but then we hand out flyers that we exist, and then people follow us, and then they know what the next thing we are doing, and then it's like a snowball effect in that sense. And it's important to make it youth friendly and to know how um, to tell them a story that they will be like, yeah, this is something important, I need to be involved in this. And in that sense, it's important to have like peer-to-peer communication and to reach the wanted goal, I would say.
Great, thank you. Since we have quite some questions here from the audience, I would then like to address this question that we have here from Kristincha as well, on how we can ensure participation of youth who are not active in organizations and projects like this. It doesn't say whom this is for, but I would actually like to address it to Mr. Veshligai and ask you, from your experience, your perspective. You talked about how the city of Pregrada works with organizations, with youth organizations, you have the local youth council, but how do you really reach, those young people who are not involved in these kind of structures, who are harder to reach? You have also mentioned some challenges of being in a rural area. So what are some of your experiences on this?
Yeah, I mean, the truth is that basically the main population of the young people are not so interested in participation. I'm also, if we I know, if you watch all population of the young people, there is, I don't have the right question for this. I believe that the young people are active, maybe in some organization that maybe are not so much involved in this political process. So maybe you have to do some, maybe the partnership with these organizations from different. It's from different parts of civil society, or like culture or sport. Of course, very important here is also the cooperation with the educational institutions, schools. It also sometimes depends on the will of the principals or some teachers who are also maybe interesting about this topic. And what is very important, in my opinion, if we talk about this role of the educational system, definitely is the some we call in Croatia the civil civil society, some that you have this as the part of the curriculum in the schools. So you must learn young people why is the important is to participate in the society, because all these decisions are have the very big influence on their lives, especially in rural areas. For example, what you are not satisfied, I don't know, for example, you don't have concerts or something where you want to spend your free time, while you are not involved in some organization and organize this. It's very hard today. I know that also that the lots of young people today are active in some on social networks and all this. We have all this problem, young people are only they're talking through the social networks. They are all online. They don't want to, like, for example, my generation, we I think we spent more time together, but why not use also the social networks and all this, maybe to also through these social networks to also to involve young people in this decisions process. Yeah, but it's hard to expect that the big majority of young people will now start to involve in some decision making processes. But maybe we must have more quality than quantity. It's reality.
Thank you very much. I think it's a lot of interesting perspectives, also emphasizing the importance of education, be it civic education in school, be it non-formal education, as Aliti was mentioning, through different organizations, projects like this, adapting, right, to the reality, going to the social media, if that's where young people are. Though it was very interesting to also hear from Milica that actually this old school handing out kind of flyers also work still. So I think it's very interesting to take into consideration different perspectives. We will now take one last question for Mr. Orlando as well. But before that, Milica had a quick comment. So go ahead.
Yeah, according to that question, I wanted to add, like, the thing about being on social media and being online and being in this kind of bubble, but we all know each other, we are active and stuff like that, and in that sense, you can do it through social media, and somehow the thing is gonna come to the person. But the easier and more straightforward way is to actually come to the person and tell him, like, you're not alone in this. We actually see, like you see, we see that there is a problem and we want to do something about it. Will you join us? In that sense, because if you're just putting it out there like it is on social media, it's lesser chance that you are actually going to reach a targeted group. But if you actually you have a specific target group that you want to reach, you physically go to them, and in that way you will ensure their participation.
Thank you, Milica. And it's always enriching to be in these kind of spaces where we can actually share different practices and different things that can work and ultimately all working for the same goal. So then moving on to the question we have here in the comments from Angela. On how can we influence, I guess by we, she means young people, more politicians, decision makers at events like this, and how can we make them listen to us? So I would like to address this to George. I know you said you don't necessarily like this term of politician and decision maker, but since you are talking from that perspective, I think it's very beneficial for young people here to get your insight on this.
Alexandra, let me come back a little bit and I will come back to this question, okay? First question, how to make decision-making spaces more appealing for young people? Well, first of all, it's not enough to say that we want young people to participate more and we want to hear young people. But we have to realize that for more than 90% of young people we want to have participating, either they are in the educational system, so they are looking into their careers, or they are working. And therefore, we have to create the material conditions for them to be able to participate and at the same time to not to lose track of their careers, regardless of them being already still in the education system or in a professional career. And another thing that is important, as far as I can see it, is the recognition of this work. We have to recognize that. And like this, we will be making these spaces more appealing for young people. You know, I could tell you about my experience with my colleagues, not the young people from the advisory council, but my colleagues from the other community advisory council. We discussed that last week in Strasbourg, and I could give you quite a few examples. Coming to the time we spend in social media, why the person who asked the question, and I challenge you to answer this question. What attracts you to social media? What are your motivations to social media? I can start by answering. Either I'm interested in the content, or I just have for pleasure. You know, I'm trying to have fun. Now, how can we make these contents on the European Union, on the Council of Europe, on decision-making process? How can we make them interesting for the young people to come to social media? And at the same time, how can we do it in such a way that at the same time they have fun and they see that they are occupying usefully their time? The participation of young people are not in organization. This is a cliche, but this is the 1 million question. In the European Union, coming to the structured dialogue and to the dialogue, we have been fighting this for a long time. I have my ideas, but it's really something that we have to keep on talking about. To the question I'm invited to answer. First of all, invite them and insist and push and use all your influences to make sure that these decision-making, these politicians, they are available. You have here a mayor of one city in question. You have a person that was introduced to you as the chair of a Council of Europe committee. Yes, it's an important committee, but here I'm talking to you about from my office at the Portuguese Institute of Sport and Youth in Lisbon, and here I'm the head of the Department for Information, Communication and International Relations, and it's part of my duties in the framework of the Council of Europe, and here at my institute, it's part of my duties to be available to young people, to be available to participate in issues like this. But I'm head of department here in my country. But should we be talking about a politician and then a member of the parliament or so on? Apart from the invitation to him or herself, there are other ways to make them to make them participate. But what for me it's appealing is that we have to say to these politician decision makers that what we want to is to endure and commit ourselves into a sound argument, a sound dialogue. There are goals and objectives with this interaction, and we will be, because this is important even from people like myself, that our opinions will be respected as well. We may in the end not agree on everything, but I'm sure it will be easy for us to at least establish common ground. But the first step is don't take no for granted, invite them and push. Alexandra knows what I'm referring to, because she invited me a few days ago, and I think I only replied yesterday, I guess. You know, so you have to keep pushing, because sometimes people kind of forget, you know, and not everybody's. I'm not an organized person, and sometimes I forget about things. And if people don't keep pushing me, you know, eventually I would be doing something different. So there is one interesting word we can use. It's resilience. You have to be resilient, and don't take no for granted. This is one thing. And the second, don't take the first no as the final word, because if that person is not available, I'm sure a colleague of that person will find time on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, George, for this, I think, very practical advice. And it is indeed true, even when we were talking about this panel, I mean, all the people in this panel are also busy doing things, have a lot of responsibilities, whether it's, you know, organizing big protests or running a city. But we thought, yes, we will invite them because this is the place that they would want to be in. And we were right. So I think this is a very, very good practical advice. I'm afraid we are almost running out of time for our panel. So I'm just going to leave now a couple of more minutes. If any of the panelists have any final remarks they would like to share. And just also, yes, you can see these great comments you're getting, how it's very inspiring and how you're all very inspiring from the audience, which I absolutely agree with. And I'm sure, as I said, we could go on for much longer here. But just now, with the few minutes we have left, if you would like to share any final thoughts or remarks, anyone, you can just please unmute yourselves and go ahead.
Yeah. What's that sound in the background? Is it my mic? Or
I think it's okay now.
Okay. Yeah, I would just like to end off by saying that I'm very happy to have been a part of this project with EU influencers. It was really something that was eye-opening in many ways, like traveling abroad and seeing how different cultures are, how people live different, how, you know, just the whole experience was very fulfilling and very wholesome as well. And learning about EU and how it works and, you know, all that was inspiring to learn it in a different environment than what I'm used to. And getting to meet like-minded people, like-minded youths for that, who are also driven, it gives me the motivation to keep working for what I'm passionate about and the questions and topics that I think are important in society. So thank you once again for this opportunity, and thank you for the panelists here. It was very nice to meet you guys and take part of your interesting thoughts.
Thank you, Aliti. It has also been a great pleasure to meet you, along with all the other amazing influencers we had a chance to meet and work with throughout this project. Would anyone else like to share any final thoughts or remarks? If so, please go ahead.
Yeah, I could. Just a short, it was the previous question about how to make politicians to attending more these events. My message is always to the young people. I mean, politicians have every 4 or 5 years elections. So you are voters, you are power. So if you want to enhance your influence, involve, first of all, in political parties, in social society organizations, in student organizations. If you are working on trade unions, just become the part of the system and try to change this. And I believe that's the only way. And of course, and try to cooperation with the people who have the similar interest. And then you become the power and you can do the changes. That's it. Thank you.
Perfect, on point. Thank you so much, Mr. Veshilai. And I would like to just ask Milica or George if they have any final remarks for us as well.
I can take the floor, and therefore we need to finish our interventions. Well, actually, I'd like to finish as I started. Thanking you for this opportunity. You know, because sometimes many things happen organized by young people that we who are in decision-making processes are not aware of. And when we talk about creating opportunities for young people to participate, I would return the sentence to you. Do make your best to have us involved in these processes, because we cannot afford the way Europe is nowadays, and I'm not going to elaborate on that. The way Europe is nowadays, and the challenges we have in the present and for the near future, not for the long run, for the near future. And we could be talking about environmental issues, we could be talking about the war in Ukraine, we could talk about the threats to democratic societies and democratic values in some of our countries. But what is at the very core here is that those who believe in democracy, in human rights and rule of law, we don't have those opportunities as we think to get together, to talk to each other, and try to reach to others, not only youth organizations, not only those who we already know that think like us, but eventually those who are not in youth organizations, those who are in disadvantaged neighborhoods, talking about inclusion. And so let's try to seize every single moment, a seminar like this one, a big conference, to actually have us much more involved and much more in connection. Because with this, I think, Ms. Alexander, because sometimes what we need is to come to an agreement in what regards the language we use. The language, the words, the language, the body language, the language and the means we use to, in our activism, to demonstrate and so on and so forth. There's got to be a common ground that we can use to actually build together. Because if we don't do it amongst ourselves, don't count on others to help us. It's the other way around. Those who don't believe in democratic systems and in our values, they make much more noise. They have means to organize themselves. They have means to influence themselves. And this is why we have to start to show much more unity than we have been doing. And one of those ways, Alexandra, DYPALL, and my friends here and all participants in the project, is to seize all these opportunities to actually commit ourselves to a dialogue and listen to each other as honest brokers, and try not to leave this gender gap, not a gender, but the intergenerational gap, be a problem. No, we have to actually establish a common code of communication amongst ourselves to make ourselves understood. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And definitely we can also see this intergenerational dialogue also happening here in this panel, and how we have everyone equally participating and contributing regardless of the age or the position they are in. So thank you for emphasizing that. And to close the panel, I will give the final remarks floor to Milica.
Thank you. I would say that if you want to raise your voice and if you want to voice your concerns, you will find a way. Just get creative, find your peers, and whether it is some form of institutional challenge or challenging facing your problems non-institutionally, just get creative, find people that are with you on your side, and good luck, because there's no one else who's going to do it for you. But be brave. That's it.
Perfect. Thank you very much for this inspirational finish, Milica, and thank you to all the panelists for engaging in this dialogue here with us this afternoon. It has sure been inspirational, and thank you also to everyone who has been raising questions and comments. It's great to have these kind of events participatory, even though they're happening online. And with this, we will close the part of the panel, and we will move back to the studio to Sandra for the final part of the event.
And also I follow the comment section during this panel. So I think that a lot of people are following and also have comments. So it's really great for all that people to be engaged, as you said, even though this event is live. For these closing words, I would also like to mention our website, project website. So all of these activities and all of these materials that we talk about in this event, you can find it on our project website. It's evinfluencers.com. So I think yes, you can find it here on the screen, and all these materials, all action descriptions, everything that we did within this project, you can find here. And also, as a closing word, I would like to tell all the young people they're following us, and all the young influencers who were here presenting, just for them to keep engaged, to make further moves in this the direction. And also I hope that this project will encourage them for participating and developing even more local actions and even more really good campaigns on society matter things. So thank you very much for watching us. This event will be saved on the YouTube and on the Facebook and other channels that we are streaming. So you can share this with your friends, colleagues, etc. And that's it. Thank you very much.